we have been well documented. There's some depth in the group, so uh, I'm enjoying that.
What, tomorrow's a big, important evaluation point for you. What do you want to see from your guys tomorrow?
Execution, execution of the schemes, the fundamental stuff. Be able to take it from the individual drills and see it on film in a team session, in a scrimmage situation. Because as we know, sometimes when the lights come on, it's easy to kind of default back to what you know as opposed to what you've been working on. So I like to see them do that. I like to see them have fun, enjoy themselves, and then be physical and be tough.
What are you reminding? What's the things that you're reminding them most? If you find yourself having to remind them most,
Those fundamental things. Again, I could talk about ball security till I'm blue in the face, and obviously that take a little while, right? But just the fundamentals, continue stressing fundamentals, because there'll be times, like any team or any individual, that you're going to play against somebody that may be more talented than you are. But if you can be fundamentally sound and technique sound, then you'll always have a chance to win some of the individual battles that happen within the game.
you take a guy like Justin, you take a guy like Kennedy. I think the one question that was with those was durability. Are you seeing that? Are they staying out there and working through those nicks and things that they need to do to be a productive, high quality back?
So far, they have
Yeah.
been, and again, part of having the depth that we have, it does allow us to be able to rep a lot of guys, and it's unique that you got, any one of those guys all the way down are capable of playing significant snaps on Saturday. So that has helped us. So maybe that's taken a little bit of the load off of if it was, just a clear cut guy that has been here for 3 years in the system, and the closest backup is a distant second. Um, then that guy gets a majority of the workload during practice. But we have a bunch of guys that are capable of playing, so we've been able to distribute the carries pretty equally amongst 4 or 5 guys throughout camp so far.
Have you thought about how you're going to go into that during the season? Are you going to be a hot hand guy? Are you going to try to gauge and feel how they're doing, how they're looking out there? How will you do that with personnel?
That question was asked the other day, and again, we haven't gotten to that point yet in camp. We still have a couple weeks left to make that decision. So right now, we just keep pushing them through and working them and see who comes out of it as the guy when we start. And then again, because we have built some depth, I think the coaching staff, Coach Hogerson and Coach Spavital, will feel pretty good about whomever we put out there.
The day of an age of the 300 carry guy, it's almost like the pitching deal where you used to have so many innings. It's almost getting to the point where the pounding now in football, it's not realistic to expect a guy to be able to carry 250, 300 times a year. So you have to have those backs, right?
If you got a guy that can carry it
Okay.
300 times, give it to him 300 times.
Okay.
We're in a fortunate situation that we got several guys, that are capable of playing. Some people around the country may not have the same fortune as we have right now, with some depth at the position. So they do have guys that are in that situation where they're going to carry the ball 200 plus times. So if we get to that point, certainly I feel like there's some guys. Coach Joseph and his staff does a heck of a job with these guys. So I feel like um, the durability will be there because their bodies are prepared for that. And then, in the case of Justin and maybe the case of Kennedy last year with the Knicks and Roos, I think the difference is those two in particular, are both a year further in development physically. You know what I mean? Now Justin's been here. He came in last summer. Now he's been through a season of winter conditioning, a summer strength and conditioning, and now into a camp. Kenny the same way. I mean, he's coming from high school. He comes in and he's does a heck of a job. But we all know that now he's been through a camp. He's been through a winter conditioning. He's been through a summer strength and conditioning. So uh, obviously they're a year more mature physically as well, just from natural growth and strength, along with what they do in the weight room.
The one exciting thing is, other than maybe Justin, these other guys are young. There's still a lot of room for growth in all these other guys.
Absolutely. And, sometimes I think as coaches you have to remind yourself of that. But at the same time, you want to push them because, in one aspect, in one respect, we say treat everybody the same. So we need to treat them the same, whether they're a fifth year senior, a freshman, or a Heisman candidate, or a guy that'll never play it down, but has a role on the team. So you treat them all the same and get them all ready and give them all reps and see what they can do.
The other exciting thing with this is since you've got some versatility and you've got some athleticism. There's some pretty neat packages you guys could put together with multiple guys in the game at the same time if that's what you choose to do.
Right. Obviously that'll come down to Coach Holgerson and Coach Spavital, and
Right.
obviously we'll all be involved when we start talking about it. But they've done some innovative things over the years offensively,
Right.
and we're continuing to do that and experiment with things in practice. So as we get closer, the big thing now is making sure that we can execute the base offense, and then as we get closer to game week, I'm sure we'll get together and start looking at specific things with specific people and kind of narrow it down that way.
But it's nice to have those guys with ball skills
It's nice to have those options. Absolutely, it's better than the alternative.
and not having any options.
Right. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Coach. How has Justin Crawford been adjusting to a leadership role to the younger guys?
Justin's adjusting well. He's been doing an excellent job. And Justin more than vocal. He's a lead by example. He works extremely hard, and when he's on the field, he works. And I think those things can be seen on film. So he's doing a great job at times vocally, and then again at times leading by example.
How is Tevin been looking throughout camp his first year?
Tevin's doing good. For a guy that's coming to camp the first time and enduring the workload that he's enduring, I know he was here in the spring, but in the spring you practice every other day, and here now with camp, you're practicing every day, and he's been running a lot out there at receiver. He's working on special teams as a returner, and he's working on offense as a running back as well as receiver. So he's getting a lot of reps, doing a lot of running around. So he's adjusting. He's getting used to it, and he's continued to do well. He's continued to do well, I should say.